Welcome back to Retro Wednesday, the Titanium here. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about 1993. We're on this journey to go from 1982 to 1994, and this is the second to the last week and the second to the last year. We're going to take a look at every figure and vehicle playset, and some of the stuff I don't have. The vehicles and playsets, I have almost all of the figures, and it's a lot. This is the biggest year ever for vintage G.I. Joe, and probably the biggest year ever for any toy line, with 109 figures, 3 of which are just actual mail-in for old figures. So 106 sort of new figures, lots of repaints in this. But why has nobody else done this? Because you got to be kind of a crazy lunatic to do this. So that's what I'm doing. Anyway, if you want to see the rest of the years, I've already got them uploaded, and then 1994 will come in a week. So let's take a look at 1993, the biggest, most massive, over 100 figure release year coming up. Alright, starting out, Back Blast version 2. The first Back Blast had a giant triple bazooka kind of grenade launcher kind of thing, but this one here, he has a recolor. He looks a little bit different. I think it is still the same mold though, just a recolored version of him. His helmet is molded on. He does have this giant gun. You're going to see this a lot, so just be ready to see this on like 8 other figures. He also comes with this knife, this dagger, which it is a little bit sort of unique. It is a little different than some of these other knives and daggers that are getting used. He has this sort of a machine gun looking thing. Let's get the light on it just right there. And then this is not really a backpack, but I strap it on with some rubber bands because I don't know what else to do with it. And it's this missile launcher with the missile launching gimmick, and there's the launcher right there, and an extra missile. It comes with 2 missiles. So this is why we start getting deep into having 2 missiles with everything. And everything sort of comes on a sprue with this, I think, every figure except for like the giant monsters. They all come on sprues like this. I got a few sprues I can show because I don't have the rest of the weapons for him. But this is Back Blast. This is getting started with some Back Blast, and he's back heavy. Alright, this is Barricade version 2. I'm not going to bring out the Cops and Crooks figure involved in this, but I did in the first video. This one is the red repaint. It really is the same as the first figure, which will kind of make this quick and easy. But he's got red, but still maintains the gold, and still has the same color helmet. So it's kind of interesting how they did that. Still the same color of gun, and everything's the same with that. And the launcher is still the same, and the backpack is still the same. And I believe you can slide that out. Anyhow, the only difference between these, literally, is the color. Hasbro got lazy, but this isn't the end of the laziness. This is actually the very tip of the iceberg. Barricade version 2. Next up, we've got Bazooka version 3. Now this looks kind of like on Dexter Batista with the way he's dressed and just that mustache, but really kind of a cool looking figure. You know, if you didn't know that it was Bazooka, it's still just a cool looking figure overall. It does come with this teal launcher and some green accessories. Now, I think he shares accessories with another one that we're going to see here just in a bit, but they have the same color accessories. Maybe they're just a little bit different, but you've got this very common sort of laser rifle thing they got going on here, missile, second missile, and then we've got this gun here to go along with all of that. And I might be missing the daggers. I mean, I think they each had some sort of either a machete or a knife or a dagger or something. But he does look like he's going on vacation. Bazooka on vacation. This is what he takes with him. He travels light, except for with a bunch of weapons. Bazooka version 3. Alright, we got Beachhead version 2. And if I may not be 100% on all my weapons accessories, and I've said that in the past, and I use yojo.com, and I'm going in order with him with his alphabetical order. So if you want to go look up yojo.com, then you can see these figures. Now, he does have the same accessory pack and the same tree as you'll see on the Mindbender we see here in a little bit. And they're both yellow, but I think they're a slight different yellow, but I interchange them. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not that much of a purist. He comes with this dagger, kind of like what we saw with Falcon's backpack, but there's no antenna on there. So this is kind of that weird looking knife that goes with him. And then he's got this gun here. And then he's got this little, I'm not even sure how he's supposed to hold this little double gun thing he's got going on, but I just kind of drape it over here, and he's got a pistol. You'll see that pistol a lot. It gets used a lot in here. Beachhead version 2 kind of a strange blue and aqua color scheme. We've seen it before with other characters, but they just kind of carried it over to him. Pretty cool. All right, now we're getting into Bulletproof version 2, and this is the yellow paint versus the tan paint. I like the yellow. So people are like, oh, I don't like neon colors of the 90s. I think this pops on a shelf way better, looks way cooler. Now, all of the gear is exactly the same except for the launcher. The launcher is different now because it is solid instead of clear, and they took the electronics out. There's no light up gimmick, or if there is, I certainly didn't take it apart and try to get it to work because I don't think it has light up gimmick in it. So it got a little bit cheaper with that. And then his microphone, that is from Scoop. I actually just took some cheap Scoop ones and put them on there. I do not have his correct microphone, which is just a very thin piece of plastic, and this has more detail. But anyhow, it does come with the gun and the backpack and all the bright colors. Yes, bulletproof, just like Cops and Crooks. Next up, we've got Colonel Courage, and yes, he does have different accessories than we saw with Bazooka, but the same color. And then you're going to see that he has the same projectile that we saw with Barricade, but a different color. So they just reuse stuff all over. This dagger, this knife, that gets reused a lot. And so the machete, that's very classic machete. Isn't that originally comes with a muskrat, I believe. Anyhow, cool looking figure overall. He's got a molded in helmet, so that is non-removable. He does have more of a classic color scheme to him with his green pants, his tan shirt. He does have some facial hair on there, molded in stuff on his chest. So it look like he's got a grenade and a gun and some stuff like that. Pretty cool looking figure overall. He's got the gold launcher. No, it's not a backpack. I literally strapped it to him to make it kind of work. And I'm not even sure if he's supposed to have two of these accessories. I think he only has one launching piece, and trying to get him to stand up with him back heavy like this is a challenge. Anyway, this is Colonel Courage, and I don't know if I see, for the rest of this time frame, him getting a version 2. All right, this is Cross Country version 2. This is his costume, and this is what he looked like after he put a tape deck in the Havoc. So that's what happened to him. He started listening to a lot of music and decided that he's going to wear some different threads, and there he is, or that's all made up in a lie. So here he comes with this gun right here and a pistol, and then this very, very common gun you're going to see like 50 different times. He also comes with this teal launcher, which looks very familiar to other launchers. Two of these, this orange backpack that's not the same as, but looks similar to spearheads. But if we take this off, you're going to notice he's got a Confederate flag on his back. So I didn't even know that. I had this figure for like over a month, and I didn't realize that he had a Confederate flag on his back. But I was buying like 7 or 8 figures at once and really didn't give them the time for each one until I started putting them together, getting all their accessories and putting them in their displays properly. But he's a little bit more challenging to get than the average 1993 figure. So it's a pretty cool figure, but getting them complete, I mean, you gotta get these weapons accessories that go with everyone else. Those are the easy part, but getting his launcher and his backpack, and getting him, Cross Country version 2. All right, next up we got Keelhaul version 2, and Keelhaul, he comes with like a sprue of a whole bunch of stuff, just ridiculous nonsense accessories he didn't need. I bought this guy back in 2020 when I was working on my flag, and it was my first Keelhaul because I got him for like $10, and I was like, yeah, I got this Keelhaul. Well, I had to have the original one. I eventually got a really nice original one, so it was a pretty good price. But this one looks really cool. Actually, it's fun having different variations of the Keelhaul. I don't know exactly what it says on his back. I guess I need to start checking their backs more. Didn't even know that was there. But yeah, Keelhaul, pretty cool looking figure overall. And as for the weapons, they're completely ridiculous, but I'll try to get a picture and put them up here. This is Law version 3. So when you look at this, you think Law and Order, but no order. And it is Law version 3. Weird, isn't it? It's really strange. Anyway, this is getting into the neon 90s. Got a bright blue and some really bright yellowish kind of lime color to it. He's got molded in face covering on him. Almost, this looks like a Cobra figure. Like you look at it, you think Cobra figure. Starting to think about this, you don't see many of the faction symbols in here. Anyway, This is that gun we see a lot of, and we see a whole lot more of this gun here too. We see this gun a lot. There is a different style of dagger that he came with than what we see for a lot of these other ones, and he comes with something different. It's a launcher, and it has like a protective plate shield right here that slides on over it. Now we're going to see that a few times more, and any idea that they come up with, they just reuse it. So it's not like this is the only figure they're going to do that with, but it's really hard for him to hold this. Hence it falling off right when I pull it down. Anyway, this is Law. I'm sure that nobody knew that, unless, of course, you were around in the 90s collecting at the time. All right, this is Leatherneck, and version, does it say version 2? And no, version 3. So there's another Leatherneck after version 1. That must be the Brazil. I think it's the Brazil Leatherneck, right? Is that what it is? Am I right? Or am I wrong? Okay. Anyhow, this is... okay, it's kind of cool. He's got his mustache. He's got his hat on. Truthfully, I think this looks more like Bazooka, and the other Bazooka looks more like Leatherneck, but that's just my belief, the way I see it. It comes with a slew of stuff. So here's this gun. It's a handgun, and he has this very common dagger. And he's got this gun here, which starts to become really common with the, I don't know what you'd call it, multiple handle gun. And then he's got like a sniper rifle here that we see with a lot of the figures. And then this is a new kind of weird type of laser blaster gun that they've got going on here. Looks like a machine gun, looks like full automatic, but again, I don't know 100%. And then here's his launcher. He does have a handle for it, and there's his missile, and I bet he's supposed to come with a spare missile, but I'm not 100% sure. And he does look like a giraffe. Just saying. I don't know why they turned him into a giraffe, but there he is. He's got a bunch of grenades on him right there. Cool looking figure. Really interesting looking figure. Hey, and you can get him real cheap. Next up we've got Long Arm, but I had to kind of pull the Cops and Crooks Long Arm out, and the shared names, which technically, because we're in the 90s and Cops and Crooks was in the 80s, that this Long Arm came first. Who came first? The cop or the spaceman? The cop. All right. So this is the Long Arm version 1. I'm not even sure if we get a version 2 out of him or not, but he comes with these red accessories. So he's got this red gun right here. He has this a spare missile to go with his missile launcher, and this is one that's got a different kind of tip than you see, and a very, very common gun that's just recolored into red. Cool thing, the orange of the trigger matches his costume, and then he's gotten into, well, he does come with a stand and this protective shield. All you gotta see is this shield. It's just crazy, and again, hard to get him to hold, so if I moved it too much, it's gonna fall off of him. Now, he does have a removable helmet. And he has this glass piece. They're all different colors. So I try to figure out ways to swap them and, get the cheapest one and then swap out. Nah, they're all different colors. But it's the same helmet, I think, in a lot of them. This one's different than what we're going to see with, say, Roadblock and them. Feels a lot like they just reused Roadblock's torso and just recolored it. That's what it feels like, but it is a little bit different in design. But we will see Roadblock here in a bit, looking all space-like. And I think this really should have been part of Star Brigade, but it's not part of Star Brigade. It's part of the main line of the standard releases, and so there you go with Long Arm. All right, now we're into Duke version 4. If you think they made too many Optimus Primes, they made too many Dukes, but you always had to have a Duke on the shelf. You always had to have Optimus Prime on a shelf, right? So he's more of in sort of some desert fatigues, and he has the tan and the dark brown. He has this gun here, which is pretty common. Up to this point, it hasn't been very common, but it will be pretty common going forward. We do have a gun. I think that is, yes, that one is Muskrat's gun. So you reuse a lot of Muskrat's accessories. We also have this gun here, which looks like an Uzi. It gets used a lot. Golden launcher. And a lot of these missiles are a little bit different. So this is longer. Some of them are real short and fat, and this is long and skinny, and just different ways to do things. But yeah, it's almost like if you need to finish him, you can just snag a muskrat. I do believe, though, that later versions of the weapons accessories are shinier, or there's something about the sheen to them that don't match, so muskrats look different than his, and the people that are pros know the difference. I personally just don't care. But anyhow, Duke version 4, and does his helmet remove? No. It's on there good. Alright, so this is Frostbite version 2, but for the longest time, I had this figure and I thought he was Shipwreck version 2. But he comes with this mask, Ghostface. Anyhow, I guess it does make sense that Frostbite is out here in the Arctic, dressed, ready for the cold weather, which is coming to, well, it's coming to us right now, so we're going to get cold weather tonight. Then we've got this, so same gun we saw, except recolored into yellow. We've got white, a white muskrat, white, whatever that one is. And then we have this machete. So they just basically used the same exact sprue and said, yeah, let's do this sprue. And I believe that a lot of these also, since they had the stand on them, you could have had a white stand with them too. I didn't need that. I don't require that to make mine to consider it's complete, but other people do. Anyway, this one is Frostbite version 2, and a pretty cool looking figure, and it's pretty cool to get a second version of this character. Where's my other shipwreck? Next up we have General Flag version 2, and the difference is in actually his belt and his chest color. I thought it was where it's kind of yellowish, but anyway, he has that removable hat. We've already seen this before, and this is his gun. This is what it looks like. But you all want to see, what does he look like next to the version 1. Now, I only do have one launcher, and I got another missile hanging around somewhere, and there is the version 1. And if you can see, he's got a black belt and black shirt. So that's the difference between the two figures. And this launcher, if you put a rubber band in it, you push this lever here, and it would fire. I guess you push it back, it would fire. But anyhow, this is General Flag version 2, and for my collecting purposes, I don't need two launchers. I really don't need to take up a lot of space or spend money on that, but I think it was cool enough to have two versions of the figure. Felt that was important. The second version is harder to get, and I think it's 100% across the board from 1990s, in the 90s, that the later the version is of the exact same figure when it's repainted is the more expensive / valuable figure. General Flag 2. Alright, now we have Gung Ho, and I'm going to show two different variations of this exact same mold, but he is version number 4. Now he does come with that really amazing American flag, which is made out of kind of a thin plastic, but it moves, it's adjustable. He's got this missile launcher on the back. Same accessories as the previous version, and same exact, I think. And then there's his ginormous gun. It's huge, and a flag. I think this is all he really came with. I do like the red. So if I were to pick out of the three of these, which one do I like the most? Well, let's see here. I've got the previous version of this mold, and then I've got what came in, I think, 98. It was like a driver or something. Now I don't have him displayed because I'm only working through 94 right now. And I don't plan on being a completist or anything past this, but there he is as like a driver of some vehicle in the future. But pretty cool. They reused this. I like the one in the red the most. What do you guys think? Oh, they also moved his tattoo to his arm. Yeah, that's weird. His tattoo got moved to his arm. Then they put it back later. Gung Ho. Alright, next we got an Iceberg version 2. So Iceberg, and he's got this gun here, which I think is the exact same gun that came with another Snow figure. Oh my goodness, I'm forgetting his name. Anyway, he does not like to hold on to this one for some reason. I don't know why. Then he comes with that same gun right here. And then he's got a launcher. Green launcher, there's a handle for it. I guess I could have him holding that, but I don't really want to. He's got the common dagger here that we're going to see quite a bit on most of these figures. And then he's got a machete. And he's got a kind of a boogie board, surfboard kind of thing. Mine's not in the greatest of shape, but I got all my stuff as cheap as I could, so there it is. And as cheap as I got the stuff, it still wasn't, overall, it still was very expensive. But anyhow, I think it's cool that we've got these boards. We're going to see another figure with a board like this. You'd think he would stand better, but the fact that I strapped stuff on his back, it does not clip to his back. I strap it on with rubber bands, so unless it's an actual backpack, it doesn't clip. So there you go. Anyway, Iceberg version 2, pretty interesting stuff that they're doing in the 90s. All right, next we're going to get into looking at Mace and Muskrat version 3, I think. Here's a carded version of Mace. Mace is one of the ones that's so cheap to buy carded that you can usually get it carded cheaper than a complete loose. And seeing as how I think I'm missing that gun with him, there's his sprue, and this is what the sprues look like. So I really wasn't worried about getting the loose one complete, just as cheap as I could, and enough parts to make it worth my while. Well, maybe I do have him complete, but he's got this laser rifle, that blaster. It's the Crimson Guards blaster. Now it's in yellow. Then he's got this gun here, now in the yellow. And yeah, it's kind of cool. He's got this launcher, and it's connected to his helmet, and his helmet does come off, but you already got to see his face. I won't bother taking his off. And then it launches, and it has an extra missile. I've got this all just rubber banded on, and a dagger. All that was on that sprue. That's insane. Then we come to Muskrat version, what I think is 3. And let's go ahead and take his helmet off. And that's what he looks like. They say that's Muskrat. I have to believe it. And then let's put that back on there. He comes with this very common laser blaster rifle. We've got a missile. We've got a blue. All this is in blue. We've got the blue version of the Crimson Twins gun. And something just fell. That'd be his aftermarket stand. So kind of cool looking, interesting stuff that they got going on here. But they would definitely both get whiplash the first time this fired. We'll see next year in 1994, they do something similar to that with a Duke, but they actually reinforce it with a backpack, which kind of makes sense. But we won't get to see that till next year, and that's a good 125 figures away. Mace and Muskrat version 3. Now we're going to get into Mutt version 4, and I've got to right some wrongs here. So let's bring this out. This is Headman, and as you can see, they use the same accessory, the same gun, which I did not know in my early days. And then they use the same launcher. Now I forgot to show the launcher for Headman and his Headhunters. Now the difference between this is exactly the same formula they've been using. The first version of this launcher comes out and it has light up gimmick and it launches. This one comes out, it launches, but no light up gimmick. And they usually put the same launcher with the same character, but since they didn't make a second Headman, they just use this for Mutt. And he does, I believe he also comes with a junkyard. And I don't need to grab, I've got like 5 junkyards, there's no need to grab one. We've seen that plenty before. But let's look at the figure. And by the way, this does not articulate, that's just a screw. So a screw point. That pod, the bipod's not removable. It is just built in. All right, so it's kind of the same thing we saw with the last version of him, except now he's got this giant silver gold gun. And again, I don't think I got the right gun pistol with him. His other pistol's more of a flat head at the end there. And kind of cool looking, but they sort of switched up the colors. The previous one they gave us in the previous year, in 1992, was with green pants and a blue vest. It does get a little frustrating, but I think I got it all under control now, and we're all fine now. How are you? Mutt version 4. All right, next up we've got Outback version 3 and version 4. And I'm going to say this. None of them come with orange accessories, but all the exact same accessories came with this guy in orange. Crazy. So they both come with red accessories. But once I realized that they both need red, I ended up picking up one with red along the way. And so there it is. Now, they're not both complete, so only one of them's complete with the red accessories. But they do come with this weapon here, and they do come with the sniper rifle looking thing going on right there. And then they also come with this gun, which is kind of crazy. I don't know if I can even show it. This gun right here. They both come with a launcher. They both come with 2 of the red missiles. And they're 2 of the exact same figure recolored in the same year. When I was reading it, something about one of them was supposed to be part of Eco Warriors or something like that, but then they canceled Eco Warriors, so they didn't include them in Eco Warriors. So it's going to be like standard release, Eco Warrior release. Really, I think it would have been kind of cooler if they would have had one of them come with the orange accessories. It would have made sense. And I think the yellow hat one is harder to get for whatever reason. But I'm looking online and you see carded ones for a pretty reasonable price. But I didn't see carded ones for a reasonable price back when I was looking. Still, I didn't want them carded. I wanted them loose, and it's pretty cool. Now, this is Outback. That's not Outback. This is Outback. He's still got the full-on beard. He's still a ginger, but he's redder. It's redder of a redhead. Anyhow, Outback version 3 and version 4, all red accessories. Next up, we got Roadblock version 5, and no, this is not the last you see of him in the vintage era. We've got at least 2 more in spacesuits that we're going to see. Different color spacesuits. But it's the same mold, recolored as the recalled one, but he was not recalled. So you got all of these basic guns. This gun that we see a whole lot of times. We've got this one over here, which actually this one's a little bit different, to tell you the truth. It's kind of cool. And then he's got a pistol. The huge. And then we've got some long missiles. And the teal launcher, which we've seen this launcher a couple times in different colors and stuff. But he's pretty cool. Now, here's the recalled one, which it's not really hard to get the figure. It's just hard to get that spinning top. And I'm going to do a retraction here. It's not a pull cord that spins the top. It actually winds up and you push a button. And I bet you that spring's way more powerful. Probably why it got recalled. Anyway, this is Roadblock version 5. We see at least one more this year. All right, Hasbro, do you have any shame? Do you have any shame, Hasbro? Snowstorm version 1 and version 2. And we have the first one came out was orange, the second one was blue. Don't really know how much difference that makes. They both come with the same accessories and stuff. They both come with this face shield, which I think it's supposed to be glued in, but guess what? No matter how well they glued it in, 90% of these are missing their face shield. And am I going to take it off and show off his face? No, I'm not. I don't want to lose that face shield. So they both have the same launcher, which is kind of like a, I don't know. It's an orange, a little mustardy on orange a bit. They do come with the white pistol, this white gun that's over here. Between the two of them, I have a hodgepodge of weapons and accessories to say that I have one complete one, and the other one's just literally sharing. He's got his own launcher and sharing the rest of the accessories. We've got this gun that's very common, and the missiles and the dagger, and they don't like to hold their launcher very well. Not sure how I had it on there. Here they are from behind, and it's one of those things that I was actually going to say I'm not going to get the second version, but I got the figure by itself with just the launcher cheap, and so it worked out. Anyway, Snowstorm version 1 and 2, 1993. Then we're getting into Wetsuit version 4. Just a quick reminder, this is what Wetsuit looked like back in the day. Version 1, this is what I think of when I think of Wetsuit. Not this one, but I don't have a problem with this one. I actually think it's one of the cooler figures of the 90s. And this one is the repaint into orange. He does have his removable helmet like this. And he has kind of this wave boogie board kind of thing that he can ride on. It's got 3 missiles, 2 attached, 1 that shoots, that's in there with the trigger. That's how that goes. Now, he is just a plain repaint from last year, from the 1992 version that's in yellow, and the difference in the launcher is in the color of the trigger. That's it for those. Anyhow, no shame. No shame, Hasbro. Next up, we have the Canadian Royal Mountie of Wild Bill? Wild Bill. Not a Canadian Royal Mountie. Okay. And, well, we've seen him before. Here he is with his glasses and his removable hat. And that is Wild Bill. But he does look like the Mountie or something like that. Doesn't he? And he has this musket looking thing. And he's got this launcher. And he's got a backpack with a dagger that goes in and out. And there he is. Now, I've lost my brown stand I have him on. Which one do you think looks cooler? The 1993 version? Or the exact same thing that's slightly recolored? that they did the year before, the 1992 version. Again, no shame from Hasbro, but oddly enough, I found it fun collecting these. I kind of like the removable hat. I've had that hat for a long time, but it doesn't work on JD and for Bionic 6. And that's what got me sort of wanting to get this figure. But he's pretty cool, and all these 93 figures, most of them are pretty simple to get. So if you really like this figure, wouldn't be hard to track them down, get them complete. Wild Bill version 3. All right, Ulaya! Okay, this guy is kind of hard to get. This is Ace version 3, and he's a little more challenging than version 2. He's packed with the Ghost Striker X16, which I think is the same mold as the ones they used the previous year. I do think they have electronics. They do have a fold-down handle. It's an okay looking ship. It's kind of cool. It's okay, but this is Ace. Now, we've looked at Ace last year. We've already seen all this, but we can pop that little tab out and pull this off. Now, my head's probably not in the greatest of shape, but it's not a cheap figure. It is not a cheap figure. So getting this guy and getting him complete and finding the $1.19 Uzi was really hard. But no, the face mask and this piece here, that's really the hard part with this guy. He's in green, does look like a pilot, just looks very simplistic. Looks like something you might have gotten in 1984 or 1983. But yet this is 1993, 10 years later, going back to the roots with an Ace figure that looks pretty cool. Let's get on to Cutter. This Cutter is Cutter version 3? Cutter version 3. And he is the driver, or I'll just call him driver, of the Shark 9000. I'm going with the TF, not TF, everything's usually TF with me. The Yo-Jo site, and I'll take their word for it. But it's a cool looking vehicle. It's not exactly what I would think of the Shark, and I don't think it goes underwater. I think it's just like a boat. And it's got some guns and stuff, some cool features on it. It would be an interesting one to review, but not one I really want to bring into my collection, because I've kind of cold stopped on the vehicles because there's space and money, and this dude is cool. So you've got the quintessential same vest like you'd get with a Cutter. You got the gun that you'd get with a Cutter, but this one is much different. Now you have this extra little piece here, which I thought about getting another one of those Aura flashlight things just to put on there, just so he's not just standing there with nothing on there. Like, oh, don't look at my peg. It's strange. This one was a challenge for me to get. It was not easy. I mean, I guess nothing's hard if you spend the stupid money people ask, but to get them for like 25 bucks was a challenge. It was a real challenge. And with that, he's the exact same mold as the previous version. And there it is. If you like a change or something different, or I could see this version piloting the Shark, or driving the Shark 9000, more than this version. But it is what it is. But hey, wouldn't it be nice? What would it look like if he had this on here? Come on, let's just blow everyone's minds. Wow, I think that's how I should display them from now on. Alright, just going in order of Yo-Jo, they have Ambush and Lowlight. Ambush version 2, Lowlight version 4, Dino Hunters. And that is what we got going on right here. So, what I did was, I got my hands on this figure, got some of his accessories that go with him. He comes with this accessory here, and this accessory there. And then, that is not the correct visor. Oddly enough, the more expensive, rare, hard-to-get Dino Hunters one doesn't have the red paint app. The red paint app looks so much cooler, but it's not supposed to have it. As you can see, I hodgepodged this thing back together in the best way I could. This is Ambush, but it's not Ambush. This is the let me read my note. 2000 Sidetrack. 2000 Sidetrack. They just used Ambush's mold, and they gave him these guns. I do believe he still has the same guns, except they're green, but he doesn't have the backpack, I don't believe, with the Dino Hunters. Again, I don't have the Dino Hunter stuff complete, and I just hodgepodge together something to have. And there is the vehicle that they have, the Dino Hunters vehicle, which is a repaint of a vehicle we had in the past. It still is a cool looking vehicle. It's interesting. I wouldn't mind having that, but I think like I'm way too late to the game for that. That's like, I don't know, $800 to get a complete Dino Hunter set. Am I wrong? Is it more than that? But I'm happy with this. That's Dino Hunters. All right, now we're getting into the Star Brigade, and I've decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to show all the figures that are sort of normal figures, and then the ones that are in the like robo suits. I'm going to do that in one clip, and I think that'll make better. Okay, so this one here is Countdown version 2, and you're going to see him again. Countdown version 3 is what, like, ridiculously hard to find. This guy's still pretty easy to find. Pretty simple. He's got this gun right here, which is very common, but his is yellow. And I think, Countdown, future Countdowns have that. And here's the missile launcher, and I think they have just a recolored version of the missile launcher. And he's got his 2 guns. He might even have something else that goes with him, but it's the same exact figure we just recently got. I think it actually was in like 89 or something. I'd have to look that up. But we got this Countdown, and he has a different backpack. He's a whole different configuration. This figure makes more sense for outer space than what they're doing over here. And I think this helmet will be easier to, okay, I say that, get off as I knock half everything down, just trying to get his helmet off. But it's not the last we see of Countdown. The Countdown is definitely a challenging figure to get in the future. This one's pretty easy, pretty cool, but a departure from what I would think a space figure. All right, now we're getting into Roadblock. This is Roadblock version 6. And there's the sprue of everything that it comes with. Same as Robo Joe, I believe. Actually, I did the research on that months ago, but he comes with this blue launcher and 2 missiles. I only have the one right here. Comes with a shotgun. Now, this shotgun actually looks more like... is this more like Falcons? Is it more like Falcons shotgun than Muskrat's? So some of them have Muskrat, some of them have Falcon. And it's got this gun here, whatever it is. And a machete. So this is definitely the same machete. And it's got... yeah, I guess I got a spare shotgun. Anyway, it's kind of cool. Let's see the helmet pop off here. Looks pretty good overall. Nice looking figure. Same head sculpt they've used on the last 3 versions of Roadblock. Still, we'll see him again in different color uniforms, costumes, stuff like that. All right, next we're going to get into the duo of the Ozones. It's the same guy. Well, he's the same guy with gray and tan. And then next year, he's red, but I don't have that one, so you just get to look at a picture, I guess. Anyway, coming around here, he's got all these accessories. I think these are both complete with all the same accessories. We've got the shotgun there, the Muskrat. Is it Muskrat's gun? And then we've got this other type of machine gun going on right here. And then we've got extra missile, which this one doesn't have the extra missile. And we've got the machete, and then we've got that gun. It's the same weapons tree, like their favorite weapons tree, I guess, that they want to just put with all of them. And you have slightly different colored launchers, if I'm correct. If all my research is correct, we've got this color, sort of orange, and then this orange right here. Anyhow, I did all the research on that months ago, and my brain hurts. So let's get a refresher on what this guy first looked like. He was part of the Eco Warriors that got canceled, so let's just bring him in and do something else with him, which I guess really does make sense. All of the ones that are doubled up this year, one of them could have been an Eco Warrior. That does sort of make sense with that explanation. Doesn't mean I gotta like it. Ozone. 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3. 4 next year. Alright, now we're getting into Payload version 3. Remember, he's the character that was included with the Defiant shuttle, and he was very classic as an astronaut with the giant backpack and all of that, but now he's brought in as still an astronaut with just crazy wacky accessories. There's his face mask thing. I advise not to take it off. Or I was advised not to take it off. I never will. Just fine. Would be nice to clean it, make it a little clearer. But there's a gold launcher, and then that's the strange looking missile that comes with it. Which I actually have another one of those to put in here. See, it's fun doing this. You can, because I know I have parts that go to other things. And there's his gun. That's like Zartan's, or not Zartan, Crimson Twins gun. Crimson Twins gun. Then he's got that very common gun, but of course in this weird orangish color. He is kind of green. It's a cool looking figure overall. I think this is much, much cooler than next year's figure, which is like $100, just because they repainted him and they short ran him. But Payload version 3 will see this mold again next year. Next we have Sci-Fi. It's Sci-Fi. It's spelled the old way of the Sci-Fi Channel before they went sci-fi with the Y's. This one's got the I's. High five. Let's get that helmet off. Guess I rubbed his paint. You can actually see where the paint's rubbed on this. In the helmet. Where it's missing, it's in the helmet. Let's get it off the helmet, put it back on his head. And looks pretty cool. This version is actually number 3. So I think last year we had to have had the version right before this, which has the same exact, pretty much everything. I don't think this guy's complete. I think I'm actually missing some accessories to him, but he does look kind of cool, kind of interesting. He's got silver versions of everything. And my cheapness, I don't really chase down everything for the 90s. Here's the previous version, and if any of this stuff goes with him, and I'm going to have to look that up. If there's anything else that goes with him, I'm going to try to flash that on the screen, because there's no way in the 90s they just put him out with a figure with a helmet and a gun. But as you can see, reuse doesn't stop, and, you know, shameless. Alright, so Sci-Fi is the pilot of the Starfighter, and duh, I should have remembered that. I should have, because I was going to pick one of these up that had a complete figure with it, but I'm not doing vehicles, so I said no on the vehicle. But anyhow, it's pretty cool. It's just a repaint of one of the previous ones. It's the exact same thing that was red before. I think it was a Cobra one when it was red. Anyhow, it's cool. I had the red one when I was a kid. I thought it was okay. I thought it was cool. But anyhow, it's a spaceship, and he's the pilot of it. Now it's time to get into these armor bots that are part of Star Brigade. Slide him over. This one is Hawk, and General Hawk version 4. Hawk 4. And he is the pilot of the armor bot. And, yeah. Okay. Ginormous armor bot. Now I have one of these somewhere, but it's literally a shell missing absolutely everything. But the electronics worked, so I got to test out the electronics. I do think it has that right arm. It's kind of like a spinny thing with, as it spins, it shoots. And that's kind of cool. So a lot of electronics, a lot of electronic sounds, a lot of cool stuff that it does. But it looks like kind of like a chicken walker in a way. It's big. It's at least, I would say, 2 foot tall. It is huge, and it's massive. And it's kind of like, I didn't even know it was part of Joe when I got one, and I just picked one up just for fun and messed around with it. But again, it's one that you got to get all the parts to it to make it as cool as it was. My shell is not cool, but I did like the electronics, and that is kind of fun. Getting into right here with Hawk, and it's a cool looking figure. So this whole different concept is, you got a helmet, you've got the character under there, which probably might be the exact same head they used in the previous version, and he comes with this gun. Like everyone has the gun, but this is that color. It's a different color. It's his own special unique color. Very easy to get this figure, even though he's the driver of something really big. They do have knee articulation, and they have arm articulation, but they don't have the rubber band, the O-ring to it. So you don't have a lot of, you just got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points of articulation. It's a 9 POA figure. He's okay. It's cool. But we're going to get into the rest of these. Some of the stuff that they've done with these other ones is really interesting. I just think these are kind of cool looking. And just I've got Headman over here because we're going to be using him in a minute. That's the size difference. When I first saw these, I thought they were like going to tower over everyone else. Kind of like we saw with Inhumanoids. These do not tower over them like Inhumanoids. They're just slightly bigger and beefier because they're wearing an armored suit. So there's 4 more of these we're going to get into. And I hope I get it right. Because these two are similar. One's like Duke and one's heavy. No. Let's get into looking at these, though. There's also 2 bad guys, Destro and the Bat. But let's start with this one right here, and I'll try to figure out which one it is based on the head sculpt. And that is Rock and Roll version 4? Rock and Roll version 4. Okay, I'll take it. There's his helmet. It's got like some clear on it. And there you go. And I believe he's supposed to have a launcher. Let me see what I did with it. think I've ever juggled 100 figure reviews in one video before, but there's his launcher, there's his gun. He's got that all these guns that are just reused over and over and over, and an extra missile. Another it's either Muskrat's or someone's, Muskrat or Falcon's shotgun. Then we get into over here. This is Duke, and we'll take a quick look at Duke's head. Yeah, that's definitely Duke. That is a pretty good Duke likeness too. And his arm is a missile launcher, which is so weird. So he has a red version. So I think it's the only way to get the red version of this might be from him, but maybe not. Maybe you get it in other ones too. I don't remember exactly. But you got red accessories, which, so if you're missing a red accessory off of one that he has, I can just pull it off him. That's just the way it works. And that's, well, at least that's what I do. I don't care. Heavy duty. Heavy duty. Now, he still has that backwards hat, but it's not really a hat. It's just a bandana, but it kind of has the same look. So it looks similar, but instead of a hat, it's a bandana. And pretty cool. He's got horns on his helmet somehow. He's also following the old missile launcher in the arm trick. And he's got that common knife, dagger. He's got this gun. Probably has a few more things he was supposed to come with, but I'm missing. But I'm not really too worried about it because he can't do anything else but rubber band it to his body. Still kind of cool, that green spikiness. A lot of people don't like this era. I was fascinated by it. I thought this was really cool, what they did here. It's just so different. Then we get into Robo Joe, which I don't think... Does Robo Joe have a removable? Yeah. Look, he's like a cyborg, isn't he? Robo Joe. That's interesting. Gold paint on his head. Then that helmet on there, almost looking like he could be a bat. He's got the gold machete. So he has all the same gold stuff. And I don't know if I have them complete, but I have a sprue for you. This is the stuff he comes with. I think it's the exact same stuff that you get with the Roadblock. And let's get in. Let's go ahead and jump into the bad guys so we can knock that out, and then we can get into, what, Mega Marines? All right, so we've got Cobra Bats and Destro. So let's start out with the Bats. B-A-A-T. Battle Armored Android Trooper. And with that, they come with a slew of accessories. There's, between two figures, you can't even hold all the accessories. That's how many accessories it comes with. Come with this launcher that actually just slides on and off the arm. I think this is a cool idea, that it just slides on and off the arm. That's kind of cool. Holds on there really well. Some of the other launchers just fall out with the tab. And then he doesn't have a removable helmet because he's a robot, but kind of cool looking overall. And then he comes with this yellow gun, a small laser pistol, of course, 2 of the projectiles. He's got this dagger that came with like Hydro Viper. And then this is another one of the commonly used blasters. Then Snake Eyes version 3, I think, came with this one. With this gun, but now it's in yellow. So lots of stuff that came with this guy. And then Destro. Now Destro is really cool. I'm not sure. I need to check. Yep, his helmet does come off. And they went back to vac metallizing his head. So that's a nice vac metallized dome he's got going on there. Really nice. And then he has silver versions of all this other stuff. Pretty much the same accessories as him except silver. So that's cool. And interesting. I didn't actually put that 2 and 2 together till just now. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, I guess that's why you have to. And there we go with Destro. Kind of cool. Kind of interesting. I do actually like these, even though some people don't. Because they're just kind of armored up. They're just kind of different. And there's not that many of them. So once you got them all, you have them all. Next, we're getting into Mega Marines. And these are going to be the 4 good guys of the Mega Marines. And we're going to start with... Let me just make sure I got all of this right. I think this one in the blue is Blastoff. I do believe blue is Blastoff. Now, I'm not really going to get into taking this armor stuff off. I got them set up to be stored and displayed on the shelf. It comes with all these green accessories here, and they are different green. Then we're going to see some other green stuff in the future. There's that gun. Missile launcher is strapped to his back. There's extra missile. Now, the whole gimmick with this is that when you open this up, hope I don't lose it all of everything. when you open this up, you put the Play-Doh in there, and there's his chest and all that kind of stuff. And he does have a visor. You put the Play-Doh in there, you close this up, and then the Play-Doh stuff, the bio armor, just kind of forms around him, and then you pretend shooting off the bio armor as you're playing. And that was the gimmick. I never liked Play-Doh on my figures, and as an adult, I'll never do that, ever. It's crazy, but you got to have this piece to make it complete. And to me, it just looks like it's already the bio armor anyway. Plus, I think that you mold in on these sides just other little canisters of stuff, like bombs or something you throw at them. I'm guessing. Now, all of these, I think, are exactly the same. No, they're not. So the blue one and the orange one are about the same. And then the yellow one and that lime-colored one are about the same. All right, next up, who do we have here? Let's look at his head. All right, so I guess I already screwed up. So this one is Blast Off. That one's Mirage. So that's how we have to go with that one. And he's got orange on him and all this blue accessories. He's got that gun, some missiles, the giant blue gun, and the orange helmet. Because they don't really resemble... Well, actually, Blast Off. I don't know if there was a previous version of him. That's what his chest looks like and all of that. So kind of cool and interesting with the orange. Different colors of orange. I'm sure some of the stuff's faded. Now I know for sure this one's Gung Ho. I mean, Gung Ho's Gung Ho. And there he is. He looks like he's getting thinner as he gets older. Thinner as he gets older. And then over here, I guess his missile launcher kept firing the missiles, so I just took it off. He's got the quintessential exact same stuff that we've seen in the past with all these other figures, all these guns that go with him. And I'm going to see if I can pry open his... Let's look under the skirt here and what he's got going on. And that's what he's got going on. That's how he rolls with his neon. This is definitely earning that reputation of neon 90s. But doing it well. Hey, look, he's got the backwards hat thing going on. Shouldn't this be on, like, Heavy Duty? Give that to Heavy Duty. He would love it. Love, love, love it. Then, here we go with the last one here. This one is Clutch. Clutch has the hat on. Make sure that's right. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, this isn't what I think of when I think of these names and the characters that they're reusing. So I have to refer to a list because it doesn't make sense to me. But yellow with the launcher, black there, and then this is the same sprue that we've been seeing all along. Just same old guns that are there. Let's see if we can look under the armor here and get what's going on. Let's see here. Come on, let's get under there. And there he is under the armor. That's what he looks like. So it's a cool concept, cool idea. What does the putty look like? I think they had different color lids based on their stuff or whatever. I don't know. I ended up with a couple of them in lots. I didn't really care. Definitely not going to use them. This is what they sound like now. It's dried. If you want to get Play-Doh, Play-Doh work fine. All right, let's get the bad guy Mega Rains out of the way with the Cyber Viper and the Mega Viper. So, Cyber Uppercut Cyber Viper is right here with his gray accessories, this gun, the launcher. I believe that's supposed to be gray, but I've got a green one that I stuck in there because I'm crazy. Crazy as a man can be. And here is... Now, this is the gun that went with one of the other Vipers back in the day. They just reused it. I actually had it on the wrong Viper for a long time. I was like, ooh, I've got this one. But no hose, the hose to nowhere. We got this sort of a common, larger gun that they used in the 90s. And then we get into, let's just go ahead and open them up and have a look-see at them. What's he got going on here? I'm not 100% sure that I have both these 100% complete. Again, you can go to Yojo to check the rest. This is going to give you an overview of what they look like. Cyber Uppercut. Here we go with the Mega Viper. And yeah, he looks kind of cool. I only have the one gun for him, and this, I'm sure he comes with a whole lot more that I'm missing. I'll probably have to look all that up. I'm sure I have some of it though, somewhere. That's what he looks like. Comes with the black on that. This was actually just challenging just to figure out what came with it. Now for the Bio Viper and the Monstro Viper. The first one we're going to look at is the Monstro Viper, which is pretty common, and he does maintain that whole gimmick where you can put some Play-Doh in there and push it in there and you make some sort of a boulder or something that he can throw, I guess. I guess that's the plan with this guy. And then here's his mace that he comes with. He can only hold one of his weapons. He has a second hand that is like gonna slap yo bad guys. Oh, he's gonna slap the good guys. But this slapping hand doesn't hold an accessory. I wish it would have held an accessory instead of just done that. Which, I don't know. There might have been a mechanism inside that mine's not working. That's possible. He's got a squishy head. These are cool looking. They're big. And let's just bring in... he's waiting to get used for his comparison shot. They're much bigger than regular Joe, so it is kind of cool to have them. And then he also comes with this gun, which he can't hold. So I guess it's either the mace or the gun. Or lose one of them like most kids probably did. Now, you can come in here with the other Viper here. I don't want to mess up that figure. This is the Bio Viper. So Monstro Viper, Bio Viper has this feature where it can... You push that thing on the back, you can grab a figure. So he's like, whoa. I don't think it works well. It doesn't work well. Now there it goes. He's holding Gung Ho. He's Gung Ho for holding Gung Ho. Now, he's got a cool looking... This is actually a cool looking figure, to tell you the truth. And the whole idea behind it is quite interesting. He does have some bicep swivel, which I guess this one has bicep swivel also. At least in that arm. Not in the slapping arm. But this one has bicep swivel in both of the arms. And can hold extra weapons, so... There you go. It's too big of a hole, but, you know, it is what it is. And the hands move. It's just how much articulation are you going to put on this guy. But the knees don't move and all of that. Kind of cool looking. These are the monsters. From around 2000 to 2003, in that time frame, they released Manimals that were supposed to be 1993. Or 94. Either 93 or 94. They were supposed to be part of this line. This was originally supposed to be an extra inclusion, and they do this. Talk about a G.I. Joe Transformer crossover. I don't have their names handy. I really wasn't even planning on showing them, because they're not really part of 1993, and we're already doing 109 figures. Let's make it 112. Alright, let's get back down to business, and back into some regular Cobras. So we're looking at Alley Viper version 2, and it's pretty similar to the first Alley Viper. Has what looks to be the exact same backpack. This thing can come off of the backpack. He has a helmet, but the helmet's different. So the helmet's different. So this is going in the new direction for a new version. That's what's going on. And then they reuse this later, and they call, well, it's an Alley Viper version 3, but it's orange again. So it's really strange how they made these decisions. He has this shield, which is kind of cool. It has a Cobra shield, and that's his gun. So it's a departure from the original. But he does look kind of cool. It is an interesting looking version. It looks like he's got a gold zipper. He's got some sort of a bomb, grenade, a dagger that's etched in. And he's got the print on the legs. Well, my version 3 doesn't have the print because that's a variation. But cool looking figure overall. This is definitely a harder figure to get because it's Troop Builder. And most of these Cobras of this year are Troop Builders, so it is harder to get them. But Alley Viper version 2. Alright, Cobra Commander version 6. I actually think this matches the previous Cobra Commander that we looked at, version 5, but this one is a darker color. This one actually has a nice hood to it. Looks kind of cool. I do like the look of this guy. And it's like a super dark blue, or it's black. I can't really tell if it's jet black or super dark blue. It has a nice Cobra symbol right there in the corner. And he comes with a bunch of guns. He's got this gun here, which is the Incinerator Trooper gun. He's got this gun here, which is it's like one of the other Viper's guns, recolored. And then he's got that common giant rifle. He's got a launcher. I'm probably missing a missile. This is as complete as I got this guy. How many Cobra Commanders do we need in that time frame? I'm just, actually, in all reality, I'm surprised we don't have 13 in 13 years, right? So be glad you don't got to track down 13 of these bad boys. Next up, we got a Cobra Eel version 3. And, oh man, he's wanting to fall over. Now, he has yellow upgraded flippers on him. He has a red version of the Incinerator Trooper's gun. He has a red version of this, was it Toxo Viper? Is it Toxo Viper's gun? I think that's the Viper. He's kind of cool. He's got a red visor on him. He's purple instead of yellow. It's just a recolor and reuse. At least they didn't just pack in all the same accessories. That might have actually been a little easier for me, though. So I took the same body, and they went from blue to purple and added a bunch of different accessories. But at the end of the day, I actually like this version a little bit more. But it's kind of cool to have a variation and difference. It's not cool tracking down the extra stuff. Next we got Crimson Guard Commander. So here he is. This is a cool looking figure. I think pretty much anything in the Crimson Guard with the black and the red, and now with some Neon 90s added to it, looks pretty cool. He's got the Incinerator Trooper gun in black. He's got that common giant rifle. This one here in black. He's got a missile launcher, and the missile. And yeah, he just looks kind of cool. It's an interesting looking figure. Since he's a commander, I don't see a reason to troop build him. But then again, I'm not the average Joe collector. Average Joe collector finds any excuse to troop build any figure. And I can see people with like 20 of these. Because he really does look that cool. With that yellow face shield and all that kind of stuff. This is the Crimson Guard Commander. Alright, so this is Dr. Mindbitter version 2. Is it only his second version? Okay. He is wild and crazy looking. Now, he does have the monocle. He's got a sculpted in microphone. Thank goodness you don't have to track down a microphone for this guy. And I like the purple and the yellow, and it's neon, so he's Neon 90s. This is where the Neon 90s gets their reputation. I can't fight it or argue it, but it doesn't mean it doesn't look cool. This is kind of cool looking. He has this gun, which is that Hydro Viper? No, it's not. It is DJ's gun. That's what it is. DJ's gun. Here's his missile launcher that he was holding in his other hand, but he let go of it. He's got molded in super awesome wristbands and stuff molded in. This gun in yellow and the little laser blaster in yellow also. But kind of cool. Shares all this gear for all the yellow guns and stuff. So the same sprue, I think, as Beachhead of this year. Major Blood version 2. Alright, next we're going to get a Firefly version 3. He's green and he's got the black on him where the previous version was gray, but we'll see that a little bit. Same old top spinning mechanism that I don't have the pull for. And there's his green gun, same as the other one. So not much new here, other than, of course, Mind's Worn. This one was harder to get, in my opinion. Much harder. Now, the one I had before was from my friend's childhood collection, so that one was easy because I've had it for years. But there it is. That's the difference. No shame. Shameless. Shameless Hasbro. Next up, we got Flak Viper version 2. Which I think I'm going out of order now, but I guess I don't really care. I just don't need to get them done. So, no, I am in order. Never mind. I'm still right on. So this is kind of an orangish reddish look to it. So the figure has some different accents. Right here, it's orangish red, the head, the legs, the launcher itself, and the missiles. And then bring in the first Flak Viper. I'm curious what people think. Would you want to have an army of them, like, mixed different colors? Or would you rather have them all an army of just one color? Like, say, I just want the blue. It looks more colorful when they're mixed up like this, but I only got the one of each. I didn't need more than one. But it is kind of interesting how the guns are recolored to blue and the little launcher pieces are recolored to blue. Just simple little touches like that. So much fun. Again, I thought, as I have backpacks somewhere in my 90s bag or box, and I thought these were Jurassic Park. But now I know, and knowing is half the battle. Shameless! So next up we have Gristle. So we're starting to get into adding to the whole Headman and Headhunter gang. That's my belief. It's the DEF gang. They're not classified as that, but That's what my understanding is. As little as my understanding is about all this, but I think he looks cool, and he kind of reminds me of Quinn from Dexter. So my wife watches a lot of Dexter, so I'm like, that looks like my G.I. Joe figure. Anyway, he's got knives on his chest and a bunch of cool look to him. It does look like Crimson Guard. These would fit in really well with the Crimson Guards and the Crimson team and all of that. This almost looks painted. I know it's not, but it almost looks painted. It's such a deep, deep, deep burgundy. Such a cool color. I don't think they've used this color on anyone else. Maybe they did, but I don't know. That looks like... whose knife would that be? Shockwave's knife? Yeah, we're going to start seeing Shockwave's knife show up in different colors, including a black one that would work for Night Force. I mean, I think we see that next. But this is Gristle, and really a cool looking figure. Not too informed about the character. I think he was in the show, though, in the Deke show. Now we're getting into another really cool figure, which is kind of hard to get. It's Headhunter Stormtrooper, and he looks really cool. Now, you think a Stormtrooper would be in white, right? That's not a rule. There's that knife. Ooh, maybe that'll find its way into my Shockwave for my good old-fashioned Night Force. But he comes with this gun here, which is actually not one used a whole lot. This other one that's used way too much. And a missile. I only have one missile in the orange launcher. Now, we're going to see this launcher in different colors, and it's just kind of grips on there. This is not a backpack. It is all held on by rubber bands. I like the cool kind of charcoal gray and then black and gold. Still, really a cool figure. Part of the team. Well, we're going to see another part of the team here in just a second. All right, next up we have the Headman's Headhunter. Headman's Headhunter. The green version, version 2, and pretty much everything we saw before. One thing I want to point out a little bit different is I didn't notice the spurs, but the green, and that makes the spurs pop. So the spurs were popping on this one, not popping on the other ones. There's his backpack, and you can put the gun in his backpack. Fun stuff like that. But if you bring in the Headman himself, and then he keeps his friends close and his enemies closer, and while there's his friends, we have his group of headhunters. Not so bad, that's only 2 of each. Here's our launcher, and following the same combination. The first one was transparent and had a light up gimmick. Forgot to show these last time because this is juggling 100 figures in a review is a lot, but I mean, last week was only like 80, right? So clear first, then they dumped it down and got cheaper for the next release. Now we're going to get into something completely different. We're going, is it a 180 that we're going the direction? This is Night Creeper Leader, and then there's another Night Creeper Leader repaint down the road, and I ended up with some extra accessories. The reason I got these extra accessories is because I was buying up lots that had weapons in them, so that I can get this for Road Pig, that for Road Pig, and then so I ended up with some extra accessories tracking those pieces down, which was fine. So I got an extra one of these because I plan to get a second one of these, but he is the leader, so really no need to have extras. But it is kind of cool. It is crazy how much stuff I put on this guy with his little rubber band. He also has this knife. That's kind of cool too. We're going to see him again, the exact same figure, but repainted sort of like a purplish, reddish hue versus orange. Still kind of cool, and I don't know if I like that they used Road Pig's weapons. I would have actually rather just Road Pig be carried over the same and me not have to piece it together the way I did, but I'm glad the options exist, and I'm glad that it worked. Next up we have Nitro Viper, who's the Detonator Driver, which is a pretty cool vehicle, and this Nitro Viper with the Detonator Viper, this vehicle is big. It's got a giant cannon, but it looks like a Nerf gun, and it's definitely jumping the Shark 9000 for sure right here, but it's okay. The 90s vehicles are either really cool because they're repaints, cool because they've done something new, or they jump the shark with a Nerf gun. Never been a fan of Nerf guns in Joe vehicles or Star Wars vehicles. So he's just a repaint of the Track Viper, including the weapon, and it's all about the same, but cool look to him. I think this actually does look a little bit cooler, pops a little bit better than kind of that creamish color look. But simple, plain, what you'd need for a driver. Not an easy one to get and not an easy one to get complete, but still it's doable. There's plenty of them out there, and this one, it might almost cost the same to buy the whole vehicle complete, with him complete, than to buy the figure complete. Anyway, this is the Nitro Viper. Next up, Astro Viper version 2. Mine's probably not in the greatest condition. I got mine super cheap. And somehow, I have his weapons on the sprue still. But the figure looks like he's been trashed. This is his gold. We'll see this exact launcher, I think 6 or 7 times. But it's gold though in this one. It's got some gold accents and stuff on him. That was painted silver before. Kind of a cool looking figure. Cheap repaint. And I'll do a comparison to the V1. I like the V1 better. I'm not going to take his weapons off the sprue. This sprue might actually work with 3 or 4 other figures too. So, hey, guess what? I got the sprue. I got the one sprue I'll show for 3 or 4 different figures. But here's the version 1, and the thing I liked about version 1 was his jetpack. That's what he was coolest for. You know, he's got his jetpack. Let's see if they did anything different with the head. Head's gold on this one instead. But I could just get another jetpack, put it on him, maybe paint it gold or something. I would have rather had a gold jetpack with him. But then again, tracking down this jetpack's already enough of a challenge. A gold one would have been a really pain. And I think they use this gold launcher in something else anyway. So, Astro Viper version 2, a little on the disappointing side. Next up we have Targat version 2, which I would have been perfectly fine with. All the same accessories and having it exactly the same as the first one. But no. He's got to be flavor of the year with these weapon sprues that make no sense. Here's a knife with him. Then he's got this gun here, which I think Mindbender has this gun in yellow. I don't know. Now that actually looks like a recolor version of Annihilator's gun. Am I right? If I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Then there's this gun that I think they put on almost every figure going forward. But I do like the purple and the gold, and I considered just getting another one of these, just to put the version 1 stuff on. And the version 1, it looks so much better when it comes to, well, just to my mind's eye. When I think about the figure, I think it's so much cooler. When you think about G.I. Joe, you don't think about him just a bunch of random guns and accessories, which I'm not even sure if he has a launcher, but I wouldn't care. I like the jetpack. I like the version 1 setup, the gear. And I wouldn't mind if they carried it over in a different color, or just even the same color would have been fine. I mean, look, he's got gold. This little gold gun here. But anyhow, it's version 2. They're just trying to squeeze as much life out of the brand as they can in the last 2 years and pumping out as many old molds as they think they can get away with. Target version 2. Next up, we got the Heat Viper, and since it's a whole new figure, I don't know that they've reused this for anything else, but it looks different than the first Heat Viper, because the first Heat Viper was much different color, and he had these things on his legs that would clip on some missiles. So he's Heat Viper in name only. And he has another one of the, is it Annihilator's gun? I believe it's Annihilator's gun. And the guy with the helicopter pack. Then he comes with a whole bunch of other stuff. But he does kind of look like RoboCop, doesn't he? Let's get that RoboCop vibe going on here. But he's a bad guy, so he's Viper. He's got this same gun again, but in green, and then the missile, and the launcher, and the missile falling out of the launcher. As I'm not surprised, a lot of times it does that. Oh, his handle is the launcher. That's why it keeps coming out. Because I've got him holding on to the launching mechanism, which kind of is a cool idea too. And look at the back of his head. That's weird. It's green, so this is a front mask. Only I never noticed that. Pretty cool figure. I like him. Would be one you'd want to troop build, only he's not cheap. Alright, now we're going to get into Ninja Force. So, it's a subgroup, but I collected it all because they're unique figures and characters, not just repaints. Now, there are some repaints already. We've already got our first Ninja Force repaint, but here's what came out this year. So we'll start over here with Bonsai, which is loaded up with a bunch of stuff. Now, some of these are duplicate weapons that I just had. Very affordable figure. Very low price, budget. He does come with 2 different sizes of sword. He has 1 axe, but I've got 2 of them with him. He's got 2 of these things. And he's got this large butcher knife and the Sai. But I got a couple extra pieces on him, and it's all rubber banded on him. Cool looking figure overall. And I guess if you get this out of the way, you can see he's got all this stuff is etched into his chest, as if he's, well, basically doing exactly what I've done and have a strap holding it on. Then we get into another one that I've got, I think, just the exact amount of his accessories. Bushido. Bushido is, I think he's a cool looking figure. Oh, by the way, these do have the arm slashing gimmick. I don't think he does, but he is arm slashed. He's got 2 of these double spike thingies. He's got the Sai, I might be saying that wrong, whatever that is. It's a sword, an axe, a longer sword, and a dagger. So same accessories, except in white. He does look cool, though. I mean, just look at that. That looks cool. You do see this spike on his helmet missing sometimes, but he's cool. And then let's get into this guy. Now, I'm missing a lot of his stuff. I only have 2 of his accessories. But in my mind, there are 2 of his, well, 1 cool accessory and 1... I think this accessory here is kind of lame, but it's what I had that was part of his sprue. Night Creeper version 2. So he has both of his go up like this. Whoosh-ow. And he's got some bombs on him. He's kind of purple and teal. Cool looking figure overall. Then we've got Scarlet. I had to look at this twice and think about it, but this is only the 2nd version of Scarlet that they ever made, which is strange. I always felt like she had a few, and this is her few. This. She's supposed to, like, Dijon kick. Oh, well. I mean, you can only do so much when you gotta stand on her, but there it is. And she comes with a whole lot more than this, but this is all I had laying around that I was going to put on her. And kind of cool. She's just a repaint of Chun-Li from last year. And there we go. Now we're sliding into Slice version 2. I would pull out the other one's just red. I mean, it's the same thing except red. And at this point, why bother? He's got the black accessories, and he's got the black this here, and probably more that's on his sprue, maybe. But this is all I've got for him. Still pretty cool. I like the leopard print and all that. And I have to admit that, like, my slices, these 2 are in exceptional condition. I've come across some of these Ninja Force figures that are worn out. And here's my theory on it. If a figure is worn out, played with a lot, that means it was a good figure. Somebody loved that figure. Just like this guy is super worn out, because somebody loved this version of Snake Eyes. It was the only one on the shelf, and they just wanted Snake Eyes. And it came just like this, all this stuff. Of course, I put the rubber bands on it to hold everything on. I even have rubber bands on his hands to hold those on. I think that it only comes with 1 of these, but I'm not sure. But I have 2. And they have 2 different size swords. And yeah, all these extra swords over here. And then the nunchucks that are brand new like the sprue. But this is Snake Eyes version 6, I think. Nope, version 5. Okay. 5 is him. 6 is the clear one when we get to the Shadow Warriors. And then we have Zartan. Now, I reviewed this one last week / last year, and I think I edited all that out because I was like, wait, he's in the next year. So I got him mixed up in my video, but it's cool because he's got these 2 little daggers that slide into here. I like this kind of inclusion, although this isn't the most effective way because it does hinder articulation. But he has the bow, so there's a bow. You get a bow. You get a bow. I should say you get a whatever this is, the Sai. I think this is 100% complete, though. I went over it last week to make sure it's 100% complete. Let's get to the drivers. All right, next we got Jinzu, and I want to get this right. He's got the pile driver. The other one's got the battle axe, so it's spelled like T-Jinzu, but it's supposed to be Jinzu. And he comes with a black sword like this, and he does this, so you can make him chop. He's just a repaint, in my opinion, a repaint of the Storm Shadow figure And he's a cool looking figure. Mine is super worn out that I had to tape the whole back of him to make him stand up. I don't really care. And I don't know if I did with the rubber band down here. I don't know. I'm just trying to come up with ways to make him stand up on his own. And that's how bad it was. He's like a $40 or $50 figure. So to get him like $20 and worn out is okay with me. But also to be able to get his vehicle over here. All right. So this is kind of how it goes. I'm putting Gung Ho in there because I've already got enough problems with this guy. And I'm just dealing with it. I don't got time to deal with that right now. So Gung Ho's in there. This is like the more modern version of Gung Ho. And it's got guns up top here. And then it just rolls. And then here's the trick. As it rolls, it builds tension. And then, I'm going to do it from this direction. I learned my lesson. And that's what it does. So it's going to throw the figure off. The handles, it's hard to get it on there without breaking the thumbs. That's just how it works. Spin it around, lower it down, and it resets itself. That's all it does. Not really all that great. This is Red Ninja, and yeah, we'll explain that here in just a second. But he is the driver of the other one, which is called the Battle Axe, which is the exact same thing as the Pile Driver, except they changed up the actual weapon and changed the colors of the casting. So the functioning's the same, but really nothing special. And we get into the reddest of the red ninjas with no red, and he's got orange. He should be like, him and Sawviper should hang out, and he's like, red stands for retired extremely dangerous. Not that I'm red, actually. Or whatever. They can console each other. Now, he is supposed to have an axe that matches this color. But I have that axe with him because I have like 6 of them. I don't know, like 3. And so I stuck it in his hand and I said, it's not worth $40 to track down one. It's stupid expensive to get just this recolored into this orangish color. I don't care. And mine's real flimsy. Also, he's in rough shape because I got him cheap. As cheap as I could. Just to have one. But truth be told, it's just a recolor of one of the figures we saw last week. Is it dice or no dice? Okay, so I've been debating how I was going to do this shot because there's so many in it. This is it's a subgroup, but it's all new for the most part. They did reuse Chun-Li for Street Fighter for Scarlet. So I guess Chun-Li was this year. I don't know why I was thinking it was last year, but there's Chun-Li. And then we've got, is it Balrog? I believe this is Balrog. Cool looking boxer. Just a reuse of Big Boa. And pretty cool. Pretty cool. The gloves don't have Cobra on it or anything. Then we have a few Guiles. This doesn't feel like Guile at all right here, but there's 3 of them. Some of them are drivers. And then we have, just figure out how we can process elimination. Here is, I got a few different ones of these. 2 Kin Masters, a Kin Master or Kin Master Son, something like that. Anyhow, there they are. Here's Zangief. He looks kind of cool. Again, I don't have any of the weapons unless they make sense. I think all the weapons that came with them were ridiculous, and so I didn't chase them down, just the figures. That was, it was annoying enough. Sagat. Is this Sagat? I think it's Sagat, and I thought I had 2 of them. There's 2 different versions. I don't think I have them both. Still pretty cool. Here's Dalsum, and maybe I should go back and play the video game again, but I remember it Dalsum. Some people say it's Dalzim. Some say it's Dahalzum. Would pronounce the H, but I don't remember that. He looks really close to the actual figure. E Honda. He's so big, I got him with 2 foot stands to hold up what's going on here. And let's see what's underneath this. It is red. I saw one of these the other day, missing this, and it was red. And I'm like, I thought it was blue. Nope, it's red under the skirt. And what do we got here? We got Ken. So we had Ken. This is Ryu. You can't have one without the other. This is Vega. And I think I took this from Chun-Li. He took that away from Chun-Li because it made no sense. I think. Again, I don't care about the accessories for these. I wasn't going for that at all. And then we have Blanca's. One of these is a driver. The other one is just chilling. Now, let's see here. This one here is the video game. And the video game one has knees. The movie one doesn't not have knees. So, that's the thing. And these are all variations of Bison. I don't understand why. I know one of them goes with the playset. One of them, the Shadow League playset. And then we have these guys here. Those are the same. Those are the same, just recolored. And the ones with the capes are the same, recolored. This guy's supposed to have like silver chest plate, kind of like Road Pig, but that's Street Fighter. Here's the Beast Blaster, and I think I showed it in another video, but let's just show it real quick. This is the vehicle they showed this year for the Street Fighters, and this one is actually a recolor of the Thunder Machine. You can open this up and you can see the driver in here. So that one is the driver, different color than this Blanca. And this one has something orange on his chest. So, a lot of variations going on there. The other thing that's different is it has this launcher up front. So it can launch. And you have extras on the side. So, I believe it comes with 4. So, I have 4. That's why I've got 4. Because I believe it comes with 4. Over here, it's got this Chun-Li. This one here is another Chun-Li. She's a repaint. And I put the antenna in here so nothing happens to it. I can't seem to get it out without messing around with it too much, but pretty cool. Different kind of decals and stickers on this thing. It is a cool looking one, but not sure I'd be in on all these, although I've got almost all of them already. Now for some vehicle cleanup. What have I not talked about? The Ice Snake. That looks like a cool snow vehicle. Looks like it's got some skids on the front, some giant wheels in the back, and it looks like it's got some sort of a launching mechanism with it. Cool, interesting. I'm wondering how many figures this could accommodate. I never reviewed it myself. Next up is the Mudbuster. Mudbuster is just an interesting vehicle. Looks like a truck. Looks like it's got some things to launch. Does look like something we've seen in the past that got repainted, but at this point, I'm not 100% sure. It's got some sort of like ramming mechanism on the front. Looks like one of those giant unibodies that is like a Taka truck kind of thing. Probably not all that impressive. Then there is the Mega Marines vehicle, and that one looks kind of cool. It's kind of interesting. I'm not really familiar with that one either. It's got some sort of a front grill thing to cover it, and it looks like you have a canopy to put the figures in the back, and I believe you can lower that giant mechanism to cover the top of it, and also there's like another gun in the front. It looks sort of futuristic, almost feels like something. This is what people like to say a lot. People like to say that this looks like something you'd see in Aliens. Then there was the Invader. The Invader is the Pogo recolored into some 90s neon. That looks pretty good. And then there was the Crimson Cruiser, which is a repaint of the Badger. Crimson Cruiser it's okay. I have the Badger. I don't think very highly of it, so I don't think I'd think very highly of the Crimson Cruiser either. Then there's Dragon Fortress that looks eerily, oddly, kind of like the thing that we saw with the Toxo Lab that we saw last year. And then there's the Sonic Boom tank. And what can I say? It's a tank. It's something they were trying to just figure out how to use, put something together at the end. It's not as impressive as some of these other ones we've seen in the past, but it was something to offer the kids. Most of these didn't have drivers. Only a handful had drivers with them, which is why I have to cover them in the end. Now for the Melloways, we've got another version of Deep Six, which is another recolor. Looks kind of cool, but I'm not bothered with any of these. Hawk 3? Is that Hawk 3? And basically it is another recolor of that Hawk and different color accessories to go along with him. Different accessories completely. I think he has a recolored version, like a black version of Major Blood version 2 backpack with the electronics on it. Then there's the Create Your Own Cobra, which that's okay. I gotta admit, I was playing with girls that didn't know what was going on with 1993 GI Joes, and never heard of Create a Cobra until I started going down this route. And that sucker's expensive because it's mellowweight, and not that many people created themselves as a Cobra, I guess. Then we get into some more of the battle choppers. There's the Interrogator version 2, and then Major Altitude version 2, but those were mellowweight, so I don't think you got the copter with them at all. So those two figures, they look kind of cool. You got the Art of Commandos. The Art of Commandos are actually a little bit pricey. So I would say the Brazil missions force is a little bit more affordable and probably more common than the Arctic Commandos. The Arctic Commandos command a little bit more. Then we got the International Force, and I gotta say the International Force was actually relatively affordable. When they do pop up, they usually pop up as a full set sealed in the baggies, and they usually go for about $100. So I don't think that's unreasonable. I think that's a pretty reasonable price for those. But none of those, I'm not messing with any of that because I don't feel I need to until I do. All right, I hope you enjoyed that look at 1993, everything made. And this is 1 week away from completing this project of looking at everything vintage G.I. Joe from 1982 to 1994. And this year was a pretty good year. It's massive. There's a ton of figures and some vehicles and stuff. But for the most part, this was a solid evolutionary step. Next year will be a whole lot less, technically next week. But those are even harder to find. So we'll talk about this and more next week. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, subscribe. Teddy Hanger out.